Hi everyone. I have an issue with this CUB Cadet that I purchased last year in 2019. I believe it was in August. Used it just here on my lawn before I laid down some sod, and then in the front. Right now it's mid-October, so we're already in fall, so everything's pretty much dying out. But anyways, this Cadet won't start. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the carburetor off. It has been sitting for about a year. So I've replaced the gas. Now I'm gonna take all this apart, and the carburetor's underneath here. Here's the bowl. I disconnected this wire earlier, so that's not the issue. This is your carburetor bowl. I'm gonna take that off. This is your carburetor under here. So I gotta take these covers off and then pull that off, take this apart. There should be a float in there. I'm gonna take all that off and clean it. I gotta remove these two nuts, and then remove that screw, and then there's another one here. Remove those two and this thing should come right up. Give me just a second. Let me take all this apart, and then I'll start it back up and show you guys what I'm doing. Alright guys, you can see I've already taken it off, and here it is. I've sprayed it a couple of times. I'm going to spray it a little bit more with some carburetor cleaner. I didn't see much dirt or anything in there. There was a little bit of residue on the carburetor bowl. It's just here, that there. Clean that one out a little bit. What I did, I just this float here. You see that little pin goes in and out. When the bowl gets full, I'm assuming this lifts up and then shuts it off, so it doesn't allow any more fuel in there. Well, it wasn't this loose when I first took it apart. That's one of the things I noticed. So what I did right here, I stuck my little spray tip there inside there and sprayed it, and I didn't really see anything coming out. But then I kept working on it, kind of forcing it in there, and then some of that spray started coming out through here. So that tells me that's where the fuel comes through. But I sprayed it real good, and I noticed the carburetor cleaner started flowing through there pretty good. So I'm just going to spray it a little bit more and put it back together and see what happens. So when I took the bowl off, it did have fuel, but I'm thinking it was the old fuel, because I did replace the fuel that was in the tank, because it had been in there for a long time. So like I said, it's been sitting there for a year. So I took that out and put some fresh fuel in there. So I'm hoping this fixes the problem. As soon as I get everything back together, I'll show you guys, let you guys know if it starts up. But again, this is where I sprayed it in, and then at first nothing was coming out. It was coming back out this way, and then it started coming out to here, which is good. And the flow seems to be moving a little bit more easy. So I'll let you guys know what happens. All right, just I'll be right back. Thanks. All right guys, I've taken the carburetor off. As you can see, taking it apart, sprayed it already. Removed the float. The float, let me see if I can do this real quick with one hand. The float goes in like this. Put it back in there. You see that little pin? It goes into that little hole there. The float raises up. I mean, it has a pin. I'm pretty sure you can see it down there at the bottom. I removed it from here. That way I could pull that float off. But once I got the float off, Be careful you don't lose that tip there. It's pretty small. So anyways, you just put it to the side like that. And that hole right there, you want to make sure you clean it. It looks pretty darn dirty. I don't know if you guys can see in there, but it's pretty dirty. So I'm gonna put some carburetor cleaner in there, try to spray it out real good. And I think that's my problem. I wasn't getting gas there. So, anyways, I'll be back and let you guys know how it works out. Alright guys, I put my gasket in place. Now I'm putting my carburetor in place. But you see these two pins right here? I gotta put these back on this here. Okay, just make sure you guys put that back. Alright guys, standing kind of far away from the cadet because it's kind of loud, so that way you guys can hear me talk. Let me zoom in on here. It's running good. It started up on the second pull as soon as I put the carburetor back in place. The first step I did, I changed out the fuel that was in the reservoir, and then I checked the spark plug. The spark plug was good, and cleaned out the filter. Then I decided to go ahead and take the carburetor apart and clean that as well. And I did notice there was some issues with the fuel wasn't going into the bowl. When I took the bowl off, it did have old fuel in it. So I emptied that out, cleaned that up, and only put the bowl back. I didn't take the carburetor off. So I tried it a few more times, and it wouldn't feed any fuel in there. So I figured, okay, so there's an issue with the fuel line to the carburetor. So I checked the fuel line, there was gas, it wasn't clogged up. So then I decided to go and take the carburetor apart. And sure enough, when I sprayed it with some carburetor cleaner, where the hose from the fuel tank connects to the fuel carburetor, it wasn't spraying out into the bowl. So I just kept spraying it, and then it opened up, and I guess it pushed whatever was in there out, and it started feeding gasoline into the bowl, and it started up. So right now it's running, and I'm gonna go and hit my mom's yard here pretty soon. I appreciate you guys. I hope this helps you guys out.